Buckle up, sports fanatics. This is the Sports Chasers Podcast, your HQ for in-depth sports talk. Join host Kevin L. Warren and crew as they dissect the hottest stories, ignite debates, and bring you closer to the action. From locker room whispers to expert takes, we cover it all. It's game time, so strap in and grab a drink. The Sports Chasers Podcast starts right now.
Hey, good evening, everybody. What's happening, everybody? It's another edition of the Sports Chasers Podcast coming to you tonight. We're not live, man, but it's the interview sessions, man. This is the segment where we sit down, we talk to some great people when it comes to the world of sports, and we'll kick it with them. We'll talk with them, sports, things about life. Man, we had a great one last week, man, when we talked to our main man Tyler, man. But tonight we got a special guest, but before we talk to our special guest tonight, let's bring out the DA. DA, what's going on tonight, sir? How are you?
I'm old and tired, but yeah, how are you?
Well, we better
Hey,
get it in.
yeah, get ready for the pills kick in. So yeah. Well,
The pills are brought to you by now.
yeah, life. Brought to you by life. You know,
Oh man, like I said,
life,
we got
wife, and kids.
we got a special guest tonight. But as we always like to do here on the Sports Chasers Podcast, we love to give people their due and their flowers and the introduction. So let me give our guests their introduction tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans and entertainment enthusiasts, welcome to another exciting edition of the Sports Chasers Podcast. Tonight, we have a very special guest join us, an incredibly talented actor, producer, and dedicated sports fan, Mr. Matt Drago. Matt is best known for his role as Fabian in Somewhere in Montana, but his impressive resume doesn't stop there. He has appeared in a range of projects, including Disney's Counting Scars, a viral video, and What Would Jesus Do? The Journey Continues, Ridley Scott's Prophets of Science Fiction, and a hit audio drama podcast, No Other Way. Beyond acting, Matt is also making waves behind the camera with his production company and currently developing its first featured films. But Matt's talent goes beyond the screen. His fourth degree black belt in karate, bringing discipline and focus to everything he does. And of course, he's passionate about sports, who sees sports as the ultimate escape and a driving force in his life. Matt is proudly, represented by HRI Talent and Ignite Talent Management, and is a SAG-AFTRA and Actors Equity member. We are thrilled to have with him here to dive into the intersection of sports, entertainment, and his personal journey. So without further ado, let's welcome to the Sports Chasers Podcast my main man for tonight, Mr. Matt Drago. Matt, what's going on tonight? How are you tonight, sir? Let's give you some applause.
Hey, Kevin, DA, thank you so much for having me tonight. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you for coming. And that's stated, man, especially, just getting out of the fires. If not your house, folks, friends, family, you're probably, everybody's still helping. Everybody's helping everyone. And that's, I guess, kind of the silver lining when these things happen, is that people get to be people all over again and not be so business-like, and they work with each other to sure that we just have life, which is most important. It's not the dollars or the cars, because none of that matters when everything's burning. So, brother, 100%. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it, for real. So thank you, sir.
Thank you for that. No, and I do. I 100%. I honestly, even when I was an East Coaster, because I know you guys are a couple New Yorkers like me, and I'd heard things about LA, and I got to be honest, a lot of them are not true. LA is, yes, a city full of dreamers, but dreamers are fighters. Don't forget that. And we look out for each other, even though it's a spread city. LA County is the biggest county in the country, believe it or not. And so, even though we're far apart at times, man, we can come together when we need to. So I really appreciate that, DA.
Thank you, sir. No problem. I've been watching closely. So we had something here in Carolina where I sent some waters up to the mountains because they had the hurricane and people lost everything there. And a buddy of mine flew up, was flying up, pallets of water to those folks because they just simple things. They didn't have water, So and folks still probably don't have water out there, because I know folks here still don't. So it's hard. And I got a really good friend at FEMA, man, and she tells me it's right now it's really wild. Like they kind of like FEMA's running around with their hair on fire,
Yeah.
right? Because it's just so many people, so many tentacles, that they're trying to grab a hold of. Like who needs water, who needs power, who needs this, who needs that. So trying to get everybody right is kind of hard. And I'm hoping maybe the Super Bowl will bring some people together.
Yeah.
Even though it's fixed. Sorry. Did I say
Hey. I don't know about that, but I will say this. I mean, I do think that sports is the ultimate bringer together of people. I mean, I think like I'm speaking to the right crowd right now. I mean, like it's an absolute escape. And I got to be honest, like I am so proud of my Rams this year. I'm also shout out to 10. I actually came out of a coma from the last day. I was gonna say, you know what? Here's what I'll say, man. I mean, honestly, like I love Cooper Kupp. He's a gritty player. I literally came out of a coma for this podcast just to talk to you guys because
that's great.
I'm sad about it, man. I think that there is a lot to do with this business that sometimes hurts. And we were actually talking about this pregame, the two of us, right? It's like sometimes like the business fucks up so much shit in your team. And it's like, I get it sometimes, but then there are other times I don't get it. And actually, Maurice Jones-Drew just followed me yesterday because I called him out because he was on primetime and like, dude was fucking depressed. Like you could tell. Like
it's hard, man.
He does color for the Rams, but I think when you're around these players, sometimes you really understand. Like just because they might not go 5 for 65 and 2 touchdowns or something like that doesn't mean that they've had a bad game. When you see Cooper Kupp pulling that double coverage and that linebacker out for that flank route for Colby Parkinson to get that 7 or 8 yard pass, he did that. So it's like a lot, and a lot of times like Puka off the field, you see the two of them, they are like tight. It's like a lot of what has made Puka great is because Cooper Kupp's been there.
And Cooper Kupp was hurt when Puka first got there. So Kupp was able to sit back from the sideline and kind of say, hey, look, man, he'll get on his crutches and crutch over to him. Look, this is what I see.
Yeah.
And Puka is smart enough to, to listen to an older
coach
guy
on the field. Yeah.
But he could, I watched it. I saw it in games. I saw it real time because Cooper Kupp, when he first got hurt, he didn't go away from the team. He was there on the sidelines like a nut, so he could just get ran over and further injured. But, he was there because he was trying to help. And it actually, the help a year or two ago is probably so much more because he came on the scene so crazy because he caught everything. So the scouts there knew that he had hands, but to know that he could run all these routes, he probably couldn't. Cooper probably helped him before he got hurt in practice over the summer, so forth and so on. I agree with you, Matt,
we're 3 years removed from one of the best receiver performances of all time. 145, 1947 yards, and 16 touchdowns. I mean, should have won the MVP. Honestly, again, it's a QB award right now, and that needs to stop. Saquon should be the MVP this year. Hard stop, dude. It's like Maurice Jones-Drew says all the time, running backs matter. Well, they do. You know why? Because they control the clock. Yes. And that's something that you cannot do through the air, but you can do it through the ground. So when you have that run game, football is made in the trenches. You got that offensive line with that push. You get Saquon to the second level.
On this show, we always say, Matt, and DA's been preaching this for the longest, ever since I know. We've been knowing each other since kids. And, they try to devalue the running back a couple of years ago. Remember that whole, the running back, we really don't need the running back. You had some of these, I won't call them dopes, but some of these folks in the media who was saying, the running back doesn't matter. I said, no, running the ball and defense will win you championships.
100%.
And if you can go back in the history of the Super Bowl, and you probably cannot name any Super Bowl winning team that did not have a good running back. Even if they didn't have a good running back all year, they had a good running back that day. Timmy Smith, 221 yards for the Washington Redskins out of nowhere. This is just what you have. As stated, Matt stated, listen, that's the way you keep your Pat Mahomes off the field is by running the ball. So
Saquon is a destroyer, man.
Yeah, he's going to have
he is
to.
a game
Yeah,
wrecker. He's a
he's going to have
destroyer.
to go hard this week. He's going to have to
On
go
his
hard.
birthday.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
make it
happy
happen.
birthday.
You know,
Yeah.
and he's a New York City kid, so just know
Yeah.
he'll be fine, and the Giants won't be fine. Good for them.
I didn't ask you to bring up the Giants.
Yeah, I'm just telling you,
Don't do that.
they will not be fine because they screwed the pooch on that one for
Don't
sure.
do that.
For sure.
Woo!
For
But
sure,
that's
for sure.
honestly what I feel like my Rams are doing right now. Like you don't
you
let
can't sell off.
you don't let the guy that got the game win, that basically got you the touchdown, especially while Stafford's there, because that's a part of this that I have.
Yes.
I have a real problem with. Like Cooper Kupp is our Travis Kelce to the Chiefs, right? So it's like when you have that connection with like a quarterback, you got to ride that out. And honestly, he's still, in my opinion, the best slot receiver in the league. And slot receivers move the chains. They get the run game started. They open out those big plays that, like the McVay offense is all based on motions.
Yes.
It's based on, Rams football is always about the ground attack, but it's quick little cuts. And Cooper Kupp is one of the best cutters in the league. So to give him up while Stafford is still on the field is it's again, I came out of a coma for this episode, guys. like we should name this episode like Matt Drago comes out of a coma
to talk about Cooper Kupp, because
the loss of the
but you know what I think can happen is, I think, right, so we have some of the, because Cooper has an agent, and they're, his agent is going to I'm thinking there has to be a way for them to kind of
incentives. They got to do an
and get them
contract.
like, listen, you don't have to leave, right? If you don't want to be somewhere else, we can pay you enough, because I think he has $5 million is going to be there, guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
So 5 is there, which is first. That's a good thing. He was smart enough to do that, because most players don't have that. But he's got $5 million in the bag. If they can give him another 5 and 5 is 10. That's a good pay for it. That's almost top pay for wide receivers.
But it's what he said.
Player coach.
It's what he said. You know what I mean? It's what he said in the like the way that he said that, man. I'm telling you, I don't know how that conversation with, but we are 3 sports guys. It's like when a player comes out and says, like, I thought it was going to begin and end in LA, and like I'm going to ball next year and I'm looking forward to 2025. It's like that conversation like came and went,
and it's hard.
And now they're getting 60 cents on the dollar for what? Like maybe to bring in, Chris Godwin, who's had injuries, Tyreek Hill, who seems like a great, like, piece to stretch the field, but the drama, like it's about the chemistry too. And Cooper Kupp is our LA guy. Like he's like our Ram. Like he's the quick little cuts, man.
I hope they work something out.
Me too, bro.
We talked about. I'm a Niners fan, so they were talking about my boy Brock Purdy this morning, and I said, I'm not paying Brock Purdy $50 million. He's not that good. Hey, everybody loves Brock Purdy, but I can't give him that money, or else I can't have a team, right? Yeah. So there are. We all understand as husbands, parents, that there's a bill book, right? We just can't run in the supermarket just buying ribeye steaks, tomahawk steaks, and putting them all in, because then we can't eat anything else. I can't pay for the car if I buy 5 tomahawk steaks, but I think the Rams can find a way, because they have been frugal, right? Last year, they got 2 all-stars.
Les Snead is a fucking beast, dude. He is. He literally he presented a master class to the league with Jared Verse and Braden Fisk.
Man, what?
They bring in B. Young, like Kobe Turner, who's a Virginia boy originally, like me. Dude, that front 4, like they're gonna cost a lot of money. But when you got AD going to practices and teaching him the stuff that he knows, like woo,
man.
That's Rams football.
I saw they had Verse. And because I saw the D tackle, right? And he ran like a sub 5,
right?
At the combine. I was like, what? Hold on, stop. Who's that? That's what the fuck. And then they drafted him, and then they got Verse. I was like, so what? And I just got mad. I said, Christian McCaffrey draft picks. I know why we can't get one, because we gave them all for a guy that's hurt right now. So I knew. from a defensive perspective, you guys are right. You got 4 or 5 years where you really don't have a lot of salary to pay. You could give Cooper Kupp the money. I just think you guys are playing hardball. That's all.
I know.
Right now.
And again, you're talking about somebody that knows the offense, that like is literally like this tight with Stafford.
And Stafford's not going nowhere, so it makes no sense.
And he's not going anywhere. Like this one, I got to be honest. Like, I mean, there have been times where we've all been like with you guys with Saquon, right? It's like there are a few times where like you want to believe in your franchise, you know that they're doing the right thing. Like I this one, to me, like I put it out there today. I even tagged MJD because like I'm all like in pain right now, and like I'm talking to my wife and she's like, shut up, and I'm like, you know what, like this one hurts. Like this is the Chiefs Travis Kelce, like this is the guy that caught the big patch. And you're gonna tell me he's missing a step. Well, you know what, I still think because of his intellect and because of his connection with Stafford, I think he was a little bit beat up this year. But like I'm telling you, you're not going to do better. The guy that I want on my team is on my team.
Yeah, and you know, and in his speech this morning, if you don't believe that he's not going to work out this offseason, oh boy, he'll be right back to running the 4-4 next year. So you know, remember coming out of college, Steve Smith said he was the best receiver in the draft. And there were a lot of luminary names that came out the year Cooper Kupp came out. Right. And Steve Smith said he's the best receiver in the draft because of what he did in college, the way he ran his routes, and the way he held on to the ball. So there are things that, you know, football people don't. And sometimes the finance people get in the way of what the football people want to do. But my hope is that in this case, it doesn't happen. And as a Niners fan, as much as I don't want to see him, I wouldn't feel right with him not being there when we beat them this year.
Well, let me get nerd on you now. Now you said the finance people and the Rams are going cheap now. Now they moved. They literally was in LA, right? Some 25 plus, 30 plus years ago, right? They leave. What's her name?
New owner. That's why they moved.
Well, hold on. Let me just bedazzle you with this. So they move out there. They move to St. Louis. They leave the city of angels. They go out there to St. Louis, fleece St. Louis for 25 plus years, and say, "Hey, we out. We're gonna move to Inglewood. We're gonna build a wonderful brand new stadium next to the Forum." And
it's beautiful.
Yeah, that thing is beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
And we'll invite the San Diego Chargers to come up and leave San Diego and we'll get this influx of money and stuff like that. And I get it. You know, football is salary cap league, but how can you just go cheap on that guy, like you said?
That's right. I just think I'm hoping this is just all for the press.
I don't think so though, because of what Cooper Kupp said. But it's what you said, Kevin. It's like put some respect on his name. Like put some respect on this guy's name. Like he's earned it. So it's like, yeah, if it's a max contract, sure. But it's not a max contract. You're asking somebody that knows the system, that has this amazing connection, that has done it for you in the
back, Matt. You got $5 million. $5 million is guaranteed money anyway, so it's going to come across. It's going to come either off of their salary cap or something anyway. So it doesn't really matter. The $5 million is there, so you may as well not be mad about it. The point is, and this is what I do in all sports, Matt. I say, okay, well, because everybody talks about getting rid of people, and I say, okay, so give me 5 guys to replace them.
Right.
Because that's the problem, right? So they're not going to get the guy from T. Higgins is not going for that money. T. Higgins is going for Puka money, right? He's going
you know that they want. You know they're going to go after T. Higgins, but T. Higgins, honestly, I think he wants to stay in Cincinnati if they pay him.
I think that's a whole nother story with that franchise. Talk about not paying people, and their practice facility is on a concrete slab right across the street from the stadium.
Right. They need to have that, right? So you got Godwin, as stated, right? And then you start to look, right, at other receivers to be your number 2.
Right.
It's a big drop off then. Now you're like, oh, okay, hold on, stop. Now we're going to guys that really aren't big name guys or good name guys that drop balls. You know, now you're looking at some other things. So to me, that's where I see Cooper Kupp starting to bubble up again because he doesn't drop the ball. So there are guys that are faster than him, right? But if he's a number 2 receiver, you're expecting the number 1 guy to be faster than him.
What I
And
love
to do
about
bigger
Matt
and better. So,
Stafford specifically, and I'll just go ahead and say it like on record, I think he is the best pocket passer in the league, and I don't think it's
oh yeah,
close.
right now,
I think he can make any, and I'm saying pocket passer. I'm not comparing him to Lamar. I'm not comparing him to Jalen Hurts. I'm not comparing him to Mahomes because Mahomes can do it all. He's proven that. He's got every skill and then some. There's never been anything like a Pat Mahomes, right?
not yet.
But
No, he's a robot.
like respect, right? And but
He's a robot.
Stafford can make a 4th and 5th read within seconds.
Oh yeah.
And so what you need to do is you need to give him those guys that can run a really sharp
Route, yeah.
4-3 yard route, right? Get you that 6 or 7 yard, first down, pound it on second down, or go to a short 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4.
Yeah.
And that's what Cooper Kupp gives you. So it's like, thank you again for having me on your show, because like this is therapy for me right now, because like I am in pain because the guy that I want on my team is on my fucking team, and they won't, and it's just that hurts,
I would give you a month or 2, man. I understand what you're saying, but I would give it a month or 2. Football players do this a lot. And yes, Matt Stafford, believe it or not, and I never thought I would say that. He's the old guy now in the league.
He's the old guy.
Yeah, he's the old guy. Like,
But
even when
that
he was
age
in Georgia,
gives you this, what I mean?
No, he's smart. He's not a bad quarterback.
Oh, but
he's always been a good quarterback. It's weird because when he was in college, he had the best arm of anybody in college, right? So I think he could throw the ball 80 yards, standing flat-footed, all kind of crazy stuff. And his arm is still pretty good now, which is why he's never had to run or doesn't run. And he's probably, if you get a good young quarterback to come out and work underneath him for 2 years, that kid will probably be really good because Matt Stafford would teach you how to be a good quarterback, a good pro quarterback. I think if he has his dithers, as my grandmother would say, and he could go into the office, he will pound the desk for his boy, and he'll say, listen, we're already given, he's got $5 million coming from us, whether he's here or not. It's guaranteed dollars. Let's just pay what we got to pay to keep our locker room right. Because again, that's probably,
you said it though.
That's probably as important. Like, because last year, Philadelphia's locker room blew up and they stopped winning games. Right. Now they're together again. Kind of got mentally, they're back on the same page and they're in the Super Bowl. So that's just how important the locker room is. And having a guy to galvanize everyone to make sure we're all on the same page, we're all rowing in the same direction, and if you got a problem, go see Cooper. And 100%. Cooper take care of the problem, right? You need those guys 100%. On the squad. So it's worth far more than money. But, sometimes, like I said, the finance guys mess up the football guys because the finance guys are not in the locker room. Yeah. And they just have an abacus, and they're just running up and down the facility, with the abacus, saying what's good and what's bad. And that's not necessarily what we need to be doing as far as the team is concerned. So I believe, I hope that, cooler heads will prevail. And
I hope so. There was a moment where I really did, like, I honestly saw that pass go down the middle on that, what was it, 4th and 7. He went to the outside where Slay is. There was nothing there, right? But like I saw it in real time, and honestly, the writing was on the wall with Cooper Kupp, even shopping him around this year. But I said, like, if he puts his foot on the ground, if Cooper can cut down the middle, get down the seam, I literally saw that touchdown happened. I was so locked in. They could have let Saquon have his day, and they still had the ball last. Like, and I'm telling you what, guys, we come back to LA with as fired up as this city is right now, like with how much we need an escape from all the actual fire that we're dealing with in our city. And I'm telling you, we get a home game for the NFC Championship. We are literally, I'm talking to you right now, 6 days before the Rams are in the Super Bowl. And then maybe Cooper Kupp is it's a no-brainer, right? It's like sometimes, like, unfortunately, it's a results league, in any sport, right? We're always looking at like what the result is, but like, look at this result. And I'll tell you what, I put a $200 bet at plus 4,000 that the Rams at 1-4, right, would win the NFC Championship this year.
Ooh, you almost got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Almost.
You know
cut
why
that.
though? You know why? Because I knew that the only thing that we had to figure out was defense, and I
Oh,
saw
well,
Chris
shit.
Shula, who
Yeah,
is like royalty, and I'm like, you know what?
Man.
These are great draft picks. If
You
there's
did
somebody
that.
that's gonna hang out and be on and that's gonna coach him up, it's gonna be Chris Shula. I
You did
believe in
that.
my offense. I think Sean McVay is the best coach in the NFC, and it's not even close. He's the youngest coach to coach a Super Bowl and the youngest coach to win a Super Bowl. Need I say more? That guy sees the game different. Players play for him, but
Yeah.
it's their belief in him. Like, he fires me up. Like, if I could get Sean McVay to coach me for an audition as an actor, I would pay that man. I'd be like, I just need you. I need
Where the hell is
5 minutes.
Denzel at?
I need
got
you
him.
to fire me the fuck up. Like,
He said, where the fuck is Denzel? I got this, bro. King Kong ain't got nothing on me.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know,
But I
listen.
did. I saw that happen, and I was just like, man. And I thought about it because I grew up being a Yankee fan, and there are 2 times that I've ever cried in sports. Okay, and one, I was a really young kid, so keep that in mind. But one was a week ago. The first time was in 2001 when the Yankees lost, because I knew how much that would have meant to our city, right? It broke my heart because I'm like, it should have been. It should have been the Yankees that year. Like, it should have been. It would have lifted the city up. It was our escape, and I felt the exact same way with the Rams. Like, it was an escape. We didn't even get a home game. 2 games in NFL postseason history that have not been played at their home stadium. And we played one of them, and we won it. Yeah. And we would have gotten the NFC Championship at home, which would have been amazing. Andrew Whitworth would have come out with another gem, man. He he's one of my favorite dudes. Like that. I mean, seriously, like, good man though. Like
7,000 years old, still blocking, right? So
you know what I mean?
You know, it's funny you say that, Matt, because I remember the play, and my buddy said, listen. If they
Mariano Rivera,
snow,
is that what you're talking about?
No, I was talking about Cooper. He said, "Yo," he said, if they weren't in the snow, he'd have put his left foot down and cut.
That's what I thought.
He said, but
I didn't see it in the shot, but I was like, God, he's got to dig in right now. I said, dig in, Coop, dig in.
You can't. It's just hard to put your foot down
in the snow.
You know, in the snow, especially because they're grass, but they're not real grass, right? So it's like kind of grassy.
No, they got grass there. It's natural grass there.
But I know my boys, and they don't make that. They don't make that excuse. You know what I mean? Like they know that they had it. I know that they had it, and honestly, I think that I saw it happen. Like it's almost like when I saw the Yankees win in 2001. Like I still believe that I was wearing a world championship jersey from that year, and I think it was like my devastation, not just for being a fan of the team, but for being a fan of the city and knowing what sports means to us. And I'm talking to 2 sportsaholics, like, but we love sports because of the breath it gives us, it helps. I mean, like for me, I mean, I get on these podcasts and it's like, I love acting, but I feel like sports is my escape.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you, not to cut you off. So you're in LA now. LA gets a lot of rap about being a sports town, late arriving, early to leave. Is that true? Give me some thoughts on that. I only been to LA once.
Sure. So. I mean, I think that it is so hard to get in and out of LA first and foremost. Being a New Yorker, I mean, I got to be honest. I think I only left 1 game at Yankee Stadium because my dad and I used to be season ticket holders at the old Yankee Stadium above home plate. And I loved it there because, I mean, I was friends with all the kids from the Bronx that would come. There was a father-son that sat in front of me that had a binder this thick. They had scored every game for like 35 years.
Wow.
See, that's what I like.
Yeah.
Well, and that's when I stopped being a Yankee. You want to hear my Yankee story? Why I became a Dodgers fan?
Kevin told me this now. Yeah, I'm listening.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right.
I'm listening.
Yeah, you told you. Okay. It's because I'm a Sicilian guy, you know. It's like
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
with me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my dad and I, you know, season tickets right behind home plate, and he was a catcher. He almost actually got in the major league, so he
Okay.
wanted those Vista seats. He always loved being above because, you know, he was like the dad growing up that would be like fastball in. He's leaning. He's going to give him the slider outside. Like he would give me, he would get, and he'd be right. And it would be
That's
like,
serious.
what is happening? Like, are you seeing the future? But he knew exactly. He's like, this is a tough pitch because he could go one of two ways. But I think if he cheats in with the fastball, he's going to wait on it and pop it over the right field fence. Boom.
Right. Oh.
I'm like, what the heck? Can I bet on this in real time? Like, this is
Because that's
crazy.
scary. It's
So
scary
my
when they're
dad and
that
I
good.
like had this like really just like love of being in this section with all of these great fans and all these people that have been going there for years and years and years. And the last year at Yankee Stadium, we went to the All-Star game, 2008. Really fun. You know, like I said, I only left one game early, and it's because it was hailing. Like it was actually physically hailing.
Yes.
And I think they did
It's
call it off. It
October.
was like,
Yeah.
it was, exactly. But I never left a game early, and it was the last game at Yankee Stadium. I was working a bar job, and we didn't actually have that last game at what I consider the real Yankee Stadium. And I was bartending at the time. There was this guy that worked at Fox, and I think I was talking to him about it, and he could just see how upset it was, not just for me, but for my dad not to be at the last game. Because you have to understand, like he was at Don Larson's perfect game.
Okay.
We went to see Jim Abbott's. We went to see Jim
Whoa.
no hitter together as a kid. Wait. David Cohn and David Wells. I was there.
I remember that year.
Yeah,
two old guys.
And I was such a kid that I was like, well, that was really cool. And I got a Beanie Baby. It was David Wells was Beanie Baby Day. I still have that Beanie Baby. So I've seen
we'll keep going.
Great games. And so the last game at Yankee Stadium, I'm cashing out at the end of the night, and my friend Greg just leaves, and I'm like, oh, did Greg leave? And he was like, yeah, but he left you a tip. I opened the tip booklet, and there were 2 tickets for the last game. So the next morning, I live with my grandmother, and we're all eating breakfast, and I just remember looking at my dad, and I'm like, hey, Dad, do you think that, you know, what are you gonna do today? And he was like, I'm just gonna, you know, sit here, probably just watch the game. Like you could tell, like he wanted to be there, but like, I mean, tickets were going for like $2-3 grand just to get in, guys. It was nuts, right? Sure. And I just remember it was the best feeling in the world. I looked at my dad and I said, why would you watch it in the kitchen when you could just go to the game? And I threw the tickets on the table.
He's like, oh, and
he looked at them, and it was like, oh, like he couldn't even believe it. So we went to the game. I took him to the game, and like they let people walk the field one last time.
Wow.
And this was a part of my life where I felt like maybe I should leave New York, or, you know, maybe come to LA. And this was kind of the defining moment in my life. You talk about sports, like, you know, kind of being a part of your life, almost being in line with your life sometimes. I literally went to, this area that we were kind of like, you know, we'd have to separate, like they separated the lines into groups, and they separated my dad and I to go around the section and meet at the end of the line for whatever reason. It was totally bizarre, but like a movie, we got there at the exact same time, and there was a security guard there, and he looked at me and he said, you can go, end of the line stops here. And he looked at my dad and he said, you can't go. And I was like, excuse me? And I said, that's my dad. Like we came together.
We can.
And he looked at me and was like, I don't care. Do you want to go or not? And I literally said, well, can he at least go for me? That's my dad. And he said, no. So like I had to walk the field for the last time, like at Yankee Stadium, without my dad, and I met him at the seats afterwards. And I just was so disgusted. I was so saddened by it. And it was like,
I can't even understand that.
And I gotta be honest, like it was a time.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like it was just, and then the next step happened, which was like in 2009. A lot of people don't realize this, but there's 10,000 less general seats at Yankee Stadium than there used to be in the old, and 3 times the amount of suites. So who are they catering to?
Of course.
And then all the kids that I used to go up seeing the games with, that like spent their hard-earned money to get that one Sunday game, or you know, that Bo Sox game or whatever it was, they were all gone. And I said, you know what? This is an expansion team. That's how I felt. I felt like all the mystique of that franchise, all the things that I loved about the franchise, the stories, right?
I
Because
agree with
sports
you.
are stories, right? Like I'm telling you. And so here's
agree with
what
you.
I'm putting out there, because I know they won in 2009 because they bought that world championship. But I'm going to put it
Yes.
out here right now to you guys right now. Because did you know when Yankee Stadium, the real Yankee Stadium, was officially torn down? After they won that championship.
Yeah, because it was across the
They
street
have not won a World Series
since.
since the house that Babe Ruth built was torn completely to the ground.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
And I hope they never fucking do again.
Now
in my
it's
lifetime.
Heritage Park across the street.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, you're so right. First off, that guy's an ass for that part, right? Not letting you and your pops walk the field. But I think that's when in New York City, for the working class folk,
Say it, DA.
sports died for us because these
Mm.
the Knicks, the Yankees, things that we could do, right? Because I always told Kev, like when I was a kid, we would, listen, it's the middle of summer. No one else wants to go to a game. Me and my buddies go across the street and play, and then we'll go 75 cents, go in the bleachers and go watch a game. Yeah, it's the A's, and it's the middle of the week, and, it's summer. No one else is there. It's cool. We'll watch Roy Wright and Cliff Johnson, and we don't care. We'll go see Jimmy Key. We don't care,
Jimmy
right?
Key,
We'll
yeah.
just do it because we're with it like that. But when it became, and this is one of my favorite shows, and I don't like giving anybody an extra push, but like, what was it? Buying New York or $1 Million Listing New York. That's it. That's it.
Mhm.
So they would show like the realtors, and so they went to a Knick game. No one went to the Knick game to watch the freaking Knicks.
Right.
They all went to make a deal with somebody.
Right.
Hey, is Jimmy here? I got to catch up with Matt. Matt's opening a new development. I want to see if I can sell half of that. No one went to see the game.
Right.
They went to make a business connection. And when
Correct.
the Yankee game started to become that, and the Knicks game started to become that, I said, you know what? I can watch it on TV, right?
Yeah.
Because the people are not there anymore. So to your point, Matt, I think it's probably cooler for the Dodgers to win the World Series because you know what? Regular people are still in the stadium cheering for that to happen.
They still have the essence of the Brooklyn Dodgers. Like,
Yes.
they're still in that original stadium that they built. They've renovated it, sure. There are some major issues that exist that we've talked about in the MLB, Moneyball and stuff like that. And I hear that loud and clear, but like, I love baseball. And like, I think what happens to me is I can switch off the MLB when it gets to postseason time and just enjoy the game. Because it's like those are the big games, right? And so,
true.
Yeah,
I believe there. I like to read stuff. I think the Dodgers are doing some part like two phases of renovation. I saw a couple weeks ago, where they're renovating Dodger Stadium. So kudos to them, man. But to piggyback on you about the Yankees, man. Yes, I've been to the old stadium myself. I was a Con Edison kid, and that was great. But like you said, now the new stadium, they priced a lot of people out, and unfortunately you can't go, and it's unfortunate, and that's how sports have done anyway, right? They like the luxury suites and all that stuff. My first time at the new stadium, I sat in what's that, the Delta Suites. It's beautiful in there.
Right.
It's absolutely beautiful in there, but it ain't like the old place, where, and you can even see it in the playoffs, even when they won in 2009. The old place used to be rocking during the postseason. And the new place, too, not says as much because I think you have a lot of corporate people who, like DA just alluded to, they're there to make deals and stuff like that. And they're not maybe per se fans or so, just people that just want to, be there. So I don't know. I don't know where that takes us, and how does that take us? But you have changed allegiances to the LA Dodgers and the LA Rams. Who else? Any other sports that you watch? You watch basketball.
Lakers. I mean, I cannot believe that. I honestly can't believe that Luka took a $117 million pay cut. But I mean, again,
Yeah.
franchises, like, like you have to remember that, like, in sports, like, it sounds like obvious to us, but franchises matter. Like the actual nuts and bolts of the franchise and the people that are involved, like, yeah, I mean, I think that there's no other person that Luka would come and play for that kind of a $117 million. I mean, that's a lot of money, but he would do it for one team to play with one other player, and that's King James. And I think that's so special because it shows me that LeBron's going after it one more time. And I think that's so cool. And to play with his son. And I mean, like, I do think that, we were talking about it earlier. I think that, LA is more of a basketball town, and we were talking about baseball. Dude, I used to like be 6 to 8 beers deep in New York City, and I could stumble into the subway, but, like, when you have to Uber or you have to get in your car, it's not that they're fair weather fans, it's that it's just so hard to get to a game. It's so hard to get to a game. Like, I just went to the Rams game and I had to, like, luckily I had a friend, shout out to Marley and Joe, that, like, lived right next door. So I get to park in their development so I didn't have to park in the parking lot. And I was able to walk a couple streets there and back and, like, take my friend and get out of there quick. But it's such an ordeal. That's the thing. It's like, I used to be able to, like, maybe end a bar shift early, like a 7:10 first pitch or something like that, and, like, scoot on up on the D or whatever and get up to Yankee Stadium. And it's like, I think that's where a lot of the disconnect is it's so much harder to watch sports in LA than it is in New York. You know what I mean? Like, for me, the Penn Station was like 5 stops away. Like, if I wanted to go to the Rangers or the Knicks, like, that's easy, right? And it's like,
Take your 10-minute ride, subway ride, right?
So I think that's where a lot of the disconnect is. It's that watching sports in LA is just harder. It's just harder because of how spread out it is, and you can't have that extra beer or 4 or 5, So it makes it a little bit difficult.
I'll say this: I've been down in South Florida now for almost 10 years. It's been 10 years, right?
Yeah.
And I'll say the same thing when I go see, of course, when the Knicks come to town, I'll go watch the Knicks play the Heat. I'll go watch the Rangers play the Panthers.
Yep.
Where the Panthers play at is not too much of a hassle. But where in downtown Miami, where the Miami Heat play at, it is absolutely. So now that you say what you say, I'm going to give the LA fans some grace. You're absolutely right. It is an ordeal for me to drive from Upper Broward County to all the way down to Dade County to the game, and the parking and the trying to find a park and maneuver traffic. Traffic is awful, and sometimes I just Uber, or I just take a Uber XL down there, or whatever, and say, hey man, come back for me around this time or whatever. What's your number so I can text you or whatever? Because the traffic is awful and stuff like that, and yeah, I'll get them some grace. I get it. You want to try to beat the traffic because traffic, especially out there in LA. I mean, you've been out there. I don't know if it's worse than New York. New York is
It's bad. It's worse.
It's worse. I mean, my friend Kevin Jack, shout out to him. We went to the Dodgers All-Star game, and guys, we knew we were gonna get toasted like that. Like it wasn't even a question. Like, we were going there and we were gonna drink. And so, like, we Ubered down, but then, like, right after the pitch, like, we walked around the stadium. We took our time. We let the sea of people leave the stadium. We got invited to a club. Like, they have, like, sometimes, like, these little areas that you can, like, congregate in and have, like, a drink after the game. But, like, in LA, I think that the only way to truly enjoy a game and the beverages that go along with it is to Uber. To Uber down and Uber back. Because if you don't do that, it's like in the back of your head, you're like, man, I got to get in the car and I got to drive an hour and a half home. And there's going to be traffic. It's probably going to take me like 45 minutes. So it's just a different dynamic, because talking to a couple of New Yorkers, I mean, it's like stumble into the one train for 5 stops and be back home.
There you go. There you go. Riverdale. I'm here.
It is so convenient.
And Cortlandt Park. There you go.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you're getting to Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn. If you're getting on the D or whatever, you take the 4 when you go upstairs to catch the catch the number 4 train, man. But thank you for that insight. Yes, because because LA fans, they get a lot of flack, but it's so convenient in New York. Like all of the sports venues, if you don't know, for those that are watching, there is a subway station connected to it. Even Barclays Center in
Tennis.
Atlantic Avenue.
Tennis. I used to watch a bunch of tennis. I go out
Yep.
there for the
7
day.
train
And I mean,
right there,
tennis,
Sanford Avenue.
tennis, you can get sloppy because I gotta be
Oh, yeah.
honest. Like it's a whole day, right? You're there. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna go see Serena. She's playing at this time, and then I've got the night match. I'm gonna go see Nadal, and it was Federer. It was like you could see like a couple, but like if you're having fun, you're having fun.
Let me tell
But yeah,
you,
the 7 train goes all the way out to Queens, and it
Matt,
stops you right there.
my aunt lived last stop with the 7 train, right? So
Oh
we'd
yeah,
be right there. So I mean, this is in the 70s, man. Like
yeah.
when it was there, folks would just be stumbling up to Main Street because they were just drunk back in the 70s. Like, yeah, dudes would go watch and just be drunk. Just
New
that's
York
just
is
what it
the
was.
best town.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, you
I'm
can't. Yeah, yeah. It
living
used
there
to be.
during my college years. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
it's
sell
yeah.
that for the
So what
world.
school did you
Dude.
go to?
I went to MMC, Marymount Manhattan College on
Yeah,
the
I know
Upper
it
East
is.
Side,
Yeah.
71st between 2nd and 3rd. Yeah.
I know exactly
Yeah.
where it's at.
Yep.
I know exactly where that's at. So,
Couple like pretty big actors have come out of there. Now Annalee Ashford, we were in
right.
class together.
Uh-huh.
She's done well for herself. Me, there's a lot of Broadway people that have come out of the school. Yeah, we were and it was little 12-person classes, and I think a lot of us that went
Wow.
there like had also auditioned for NYU, but like
Right.
maybe had gotten like half scholarships, and we were kind of like, should we really be coming out of college with $200,000 in debt?
Oh
Maybe
man,
that's
look,
not a good idea.
And
listen, man.
no,
Nope.
no, 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 no,
Nope,
no.
Smart
nope, nope,
kids.
nope.
Smart kids. So
Smart,
let me
smart.
I'm gonna take this, and I don't know where you're at. I just want to swing this a little bit, man, because this is like I'm really into acting, right? So like not wanting to be an actor, but like the whole
Look, really?
not dude, shoot, me. I was in the entertainment business, man.
Well,
So
yeah, I know as a
yeah,
rapper, not an actor.
nah, but back in the '90s, we were around each other, not a lot. If you
Right.
did go to an event, I didn't go to a lot of events because I
Yeah.
had to go to work the next morning most times, so I couldn't go to those industry parties because I had kids and I had to go to work. But I used to watch. I remember watching Denzel when he was real young, real young, like 85, 86, and a play. Checkmates or something like that. It was called. It was on Broadway, and like I would go to see plays. Like that was my thing with the girls. Like dudes were
too.
taking girls
Yeah.
to the movies. I was taking girls to plays because people didn't know plays didn't cost much more than the movies if you
Right.
catch a matinee. See,
Yep.
we
Yep.
can go to a play.
TKTS. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
TKTS.
man. That
I had a
dummies.
membership actually that I forget what it was called, but it was like if you were a college student, you could basically get on this membership program where
Right.
like the day of, like you could get like $10 tickets to
Yeah,
like
it's,
Broadway shows because it
dudes.
would basically, if it's so, and I used to second act stuff. Like I used to if I had time, I was in a theater in New York City, and I do
Yeah,
miss that.
yeah, and because Matt, and I know a lot of times they weren't always sold out, and they wanted to have tickets,
Yeah.
and people wanted, so you were there, and I would
Yeah.
take girls to plays all the time, man. So,
Good date night.
what is the difference? Like, what is the? Oh yeah, boy, listen, girls really liked you if you took them to a play because you showed
I
them
either took them
something.
to the play or Yankee Stadium, but I got to
Yeah,
be honest, if they weren't watching the game at Yankee Stadium, that was the last date.
yeah. Well, you have
If
to,
they're
vet their baseball thing, Matt. Now
if
you
they
got to vet
weren't,
that.
in fact, one of my best friends, shout out to Greg Lynch, I took him to all the Red Sox Yankee games because he was a Red Sox fan, and I knew that we
Right.
would both be
Beat them.
locked in.
Yeah.
Even like we would be talking about baseball, so I kept those like separate for him. But what was your question?
I said so. You have to vet just know you got to vet the baseball girls. So you're married now,
Oh yeah.
but back then you can't take a girl that doesn't like.
Well, it's
baseball.
one of the reasons I married her because she started to
Like
talk
baseball.
baseball with me. She's a big
Oh,
Chiefs
wow.
fan. Like she knows
Yeah,
her sports, man. Like she
that's good.
like
We'll take
woo.
it. She's
Yeah,
part of the Sports
absolutely.
Chasers. We'll send her
She
a shirt.
snuck into the 2008 All-Star game actually because she was a promo model outside, and she went to the
Wow.
security guard and she started to like kind of like be nice and kind of like, hi, like, do you think I could just stay in here? And then he was like, yeah, come on. And like he felt like a hot shot. And like she's like, thank you so much. And he was like, hey, are you meeting a guy? And she's like, yeah, bye.
Wow.
So she got to see like literally the 11th to the 17th inning because she like flirted with, and when she walked up like and sat on the seat next to me
Wow.
and my dad, I was like, how the fuck did you get
Yeah.
in? One, and two, I'm gonna marry you.
Yeah. Yes. Who are you?
This is one you keep.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes.
absolutely.
You're down. Pops is like, yeah, she's good. She's a keeper. But
Yeah,
what's
absolutely.
the difference? Now I understand the more it's more immediate. Folks are right there, but from like an actor's chops thing, from a movie to a play, I would assume like which one's harder? Because I've heard like the doing it 80 takes is hard, but I've also heard just doing it live, and if someone fluffs the line, you just got to kind of make it work. It's harder. So which one do you find harder
It's a great
between being
question,
live
DA.
or being in front of
Yeah,
a camera?
it's a great question. I mean, I don't want to not answer it, but they're both different and they both have their own unique challenges. I look at like theater is a great entry point for any actor's like
Right.
process because it's basically acting in real time without training reels. You've got the audience, like it's live and it's alive. And
Right.
so a lot of times like you can in real time understand how the material is impacting the audience and maybe you'll adjust it, right? Like I've played roles sometimes like on a tour and like I'll evolve the character because that moment's not landing right. So let
Right.
me try this for this show. And then it does land. And then, oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna lock that in. But you know what? There's this other part of the scene. Why don't I talk to this actor? Do you want to try to so you can kind of like engage like a little bit differently because it's alive because you're doing the same role over and over again. It becomes fun because you kind of can grow in the part. Film is high stakes in another way. The way that it's high stakes is a lot of times in film, you're going over the scenes like over and over and over again. And I say that actors should always do their work in pre-production, meaning
Right.
that it
Right.
is my job when you cast me as the casting director or the director, say you're the producer, Kev, and you're the director, DA. It's like, basically it's my job to essentially bring my work to the role. And maybe there will be some collaboration. Maybe you're the type of director, DA, that you're like, hey, Matt, like, I also wrote this one. I'm thinking this, I'm thinking that. So like, I'm studying what you're giving me and what you want from the character because my job is to serve you, both of you, right? It's your
Right.
project. I'm here to serve that. So different actors have different methodologies and how they do that. I mean, I am a little bit of a method actor. I lost 25 pounds for this role.
Well,
I wanted to feel like I was in the body of this character. Like I definitely workshopped on a lot of backstories and writing things out and really thinking about how this guy clicked in this film that I'm in somewhere in Montana. And I just felt like that was the way to get me to the right place. That way, when I came to set, all I had to do was say the words, which is actually a famous Anthony Hopkins quote. It's like he says, just say the words. Well, it's because of all the layers of work that
that
he's
you've done.
done that the only thing that's left to do is for you to say action and me to be with the other actor because at that point, that's where the magic happens. You don't even know what's going to happen because
Right.
you're so locked into the character. You've given him so many behavioral elements because of
Right.
the work that you've done that all you have to do is be in touch. And when you're opposite great actors like I was, Graham McTavish and Michelle Hurd and Kate Orsini and
Right.
Jonathan Stoddard, in this one, it's so that's like the easiest part in a way because like you're really just playing off of the other people. And this is the secret sauce too. When you have great off screen or off stage relationships like I
Right.
did, I mean, we became a family in this one, which is very rare. We'd go on hikes together. We'd go to the lodge and get our bison steaks. Like we'd go to breakfast together.
Which
We
are
had these
good.
really, really awesome, like life-changing, relationships behind the screen that I felt like it really translated to the scene. So I don't know if that fully answered your question. I'm
No.
glad I
Actually,
started in
it
theater.
did
Yeah.
because It's weird. Like I saw so many things that you said that directly correlate to sports, right? So like the performing
For sure.
beforehand, like so it's like football, right? So you work all week, for Sunday for that
Champions are made off the
yeah,
field of play. Yep.
that's right. So
Yep.
and then, but conversely, you're a baseball player and it's live, you're at the plate, and you got this pitch. And like your father would say, he's leaning in. You got to improvise.
Right.
For it to land, you might have to do this. So you
Right.
learn to improvise in that respect, like a baseball player would if gets a bad hop or something. But also you have to prepare like any other athlete would have to, so once you're hired, you're there to do your job. So that was really cool because I really didn't see those similes as far as two very different fields of making money. I guess that's why all you guys, actors and athletes, get paid $1 billion because that crap is hard. I mean, I don't know if I'd be able to do it. So, yeah, I asked because I'm a nerd with that, man. Like I love good TV. I love bad TV. I hate, but good movies I like.
Let me,
You can kind of tell a good one from a bad one. So
100%.
Bad
100%. Yeah. There are a lot of parallels for sure.
let me ask you this, Mac. If anybody you could work with, whether you act or produce, who would you want to starring with, and who would you want to produce with or produce?
I gotta say Marty Scorsese, just because of I think the director actor relationship is so intimate. I think it's so
Right.
beautiful, and I think for that reason and that reason alone, I have to put it as like the gold standard for what I would want to do is
Right.
just have that collaboration. I mean, I can speak to Brandon Smith in Somewhere in Montana. And I mean, the way that we built the character was very much in the vein of what we're doing right now. We would be on Zoom calls together and we would literally just be going through page by page by page because he wrote a lot of himself into the script. So it felt like a case study, really trying to figure out how we could build and collaborate on the character together. And so I do feel like there's a major part of the director actor relationship that I just gleaned so much from this film. And I think it's why I really, if I could work with anybody, it would be a great like that, because I think I've realized from this project specifically, I don't just love acting, I love collaborating. And that actor-director relationship is so cool because they're seeing something outside of yourself. It's the same. I mean, you saw how I was fired up about Coach McVay, man. It's like the same thing. It's like, fire me the fuck up, because sometimes you need somebody that's just willing to see outside of yourself, give you a little adjustment, give you a little encouragement, know that you both want the same thing, and then go out on the field of play and execute it.
You guys are fucking phenomenal with me, man. Like I watched like behind of this and where the actors are, you guys do your readings and you're all at tables and you're actually going over your lines, but in your head, you actually see the whole set and everywhere you're supposed to be, and you're walking in your head, but you're doing your lines, but you see all of that sitting right there while you're doing the reading at the table. And to me, that's absolutely like, dude, how the hell do you, like, all I see is a room. We're all sitting in the room, but Jon Snow is talking, but he could see, this is really happening or that's really happening. And that to me is that's a gift from God, man. That, like, a lot of people don't have that kind of imagination, man, that foresight, man. So I man, look, man, I'm gonna go see the movie, man. So I don't care. I'll go see any movie. So.
Definitely.
I think you'll like it.
My grandson lives in Montana, believe it or not.
Oh, good.
So,
Good.
Yeah. Ricky's son.
It's
lives
a great
in
place to
Montana,
shoot a
so.
film. I mean, it really does. I mean,
it's
from
not
a
a
couple...
good place to be a kid because you can't go outside in the dark because coyotes will get you. So it's not. Yeah, it's kind of harsh, man. Like, I think he weighs a little bit. He's 14 now. All right, Ricky's son is 14. So yeah, he's probably can fight off a coyote now, but when he was little, yeah, coyotes we come get you. So
tell us a little bit about the movie, Matt. Just a little bit for those that's wanting to go see it, possibly just a little bit.
Absolutely. Can I pause it so I can let my dog and my wife needs to leave? Is that okay?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
We got dogs. We love dogs on the show. Ain't that right, DA? Where's
yeah.
your
I just let Otis outside, so yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll be right back.
yo, man? We love this here, man.
A little impromptu.
I just let Otis out.
I'm coming back.
Started farting. I had to go. Started with that mess, man. You got to go, homie. Can't stay in here with that.
Well, what you do with the rest of it? Well, no, hold on. Let's go back to this acting thing with you. I think this is hilarious, man. I never knew that you not wanted to do it, but
I was always into it, man. Always. Like when I was at Jive, man, the dude that owned Jive Records always told me, man, like, yo, D, man, you need to be a comedian.
Listen, I always told you that. I always told you that.
You need to go do so you would be blah blah. And I was like, nah, really,
Yeah,
I wasn't really good around being around people like that, So, but I always went to everything. Like, I used to go by myself, man, to plays, man. I would do that stuff, B. When no one knew I was doing it, they thought I was being cool guy D in New York. I would be in the village going to see a play or something, man, because I would get the village voice, go in the back, find something, some obscure dude, boom, just go.
Yeah,
man, nothing else to do.
Lot of stuff to get into. Matt, what was we at? We was talking about
the movie.
Your movie. Give us a little bit about your movie.
Yeah, so it's a story of the times. I mean, and it's a good one. I mean, as an actor, as an artist, I think this is a story that I've always wanted to tell. Basically, I play a West Coast director, and Graham McTavish plays a Montana rancher. And essentially, it becomes a story of the fact that we are two opposing forces. We're two people that wouldn't typically be in the same room together, but we're thrust upon each other because we need each other. And I think it's a good story to tell because I think, I realized even shooting this, that there's more that can connect us than could ever divide us, but we have to let each other in. And we need to, on both sides, really lead with love and respect, which respect in my life, I don't know about you guys, is about the highest form of love that I can imagine, someone giving me is like that, just mutual respect. So essentially, the way it goes is that he essentially is Fabian. My character is needing a location for his film. And again, you have to understand that film is his legacy. And so it has to be the perfect location for his epic film. This is something that he's always wanted to make. And it happens to be John Alexander's ranch. And so John Alexander, Graham, needs the money from the film production because he's on hard times and he is about to essentially lose his ranch to the bank if he can't pay some bills. And so the two of us basically come together and we butt heads right away. We feel like it's just two people essentially that aren't gonna jive. And Brandon Smith writes a really great script because he makes us both the protagonists and the antagonists of the same story. Ooh. Like, we antagonize each other, but we're both good people. My character
is a-holes and good guys at the same time.
And aren't we all, right? Aren't we all in life?
That's
you know what I mean?
Beings.
So I think it's a really, really good conversation piece. Graham and I actually have a 10-page scene that's just the two of us. It's not done in cinema that often that you have a 10-page scene with just two actors in it. But again, it's those times offset that we had these conversations. We didn't want it to feel too precious. We wanted it to be a conversation just like I'm having with you right now, like that it was grounded, that we didn't fall into any of the actor traps, because again, we go there. We go into politics, we go into racism, we go into religion, and we have that conversation. And you have to understand, like, I'm fighting for something, and he's fighting for something. So it really is like a great conversation piece. It's why I'm really glad that it got into the theaters, because again, I feel like, those little 2-minute conversations and being on podcasts like this, it's the way to get the message out there, because I think it's the film that we all need right now collectively in our society. We shot it on a real active cattle ranch in Montana. And I got to be honest, there's a picture on my Instagram, and it's just a behind the scenes, nondescript picture, but it's the moment where I realized how powerful this story was. And essentially it's Brandon Smith, the writer director, next to me, who plays the director, and Graham, who plays the Montana rancher, and David, who actually owns the real ranch. So it's like the two of us almost playing each other. And it was this really unique picture because I remember this moment. And I've always been a meat eater, and I literally and David, the real life rancher, he knew what I was saying. But I asked him a question at one point, and I looked at him, and it's the first time I ever saw him have any emotion. I said, David, how do you do this? And he literally looked up at the sun and he said, "Oh,
Wow.
it's still hard."
Mm.
Because he raises these cows, like these calves, like from babies,
That's
but
crazy.
it's what he has to do to feed his I mean, again, these smaller ranchers like out in Montana, they don't have monster herds. Like
Right.
they have herds that they can manage, like they take enough, to make enough, but it's
Yeah.
a sacrifice because again, they connect with these like animals,
Animals.
right? That
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
a lot of us are carnivores. So at that moment I realized like we need each other. Like there is
Wow.
more that could connect us than will ever divide us, and we have to lean in on that right now. And I feel like this is it's like sometimes in art, this is what I always say, you have to show people things. You can't just say it online. You can't just have a couple good lines on your social media post. Like sometimes this is why art exists. This is why I became an artist, because if you can show people the path forward that we all need right now, especially in our country, to come
Right.
together between two people that would never be in the same room together, then maybe that resonates and maybe that makes a change.
And I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's going to make a change. We need to do that. We all need that. And I'm pretty sure it happens, because you guys, there's always somewhere that you need to film, and where you need to film at may not necessarily be owned by someone that's, you know, they may want to work with you for whatever reason, but
Right.
there's life happens in between, and you guys got to kind of figure it out and say, look, man, I need your space to do this film. This is
Yeah.
my baby. I've dreamed of this. This is my, you know, uh, deer hunter. I need this. I need this place. I've seen it in my dreams. And the other
Yeah.
guy's like, yeah.
Well, and I think that's what was so fascinating about this specifically is that Graham is such a nuanced, subtle actor. Um, I can be, but for this role, I felt Fabian big. He's a really larger than life, passionate guy, and so when I started to workshop him with my acting teacher and the director, I said I keep feeling him big, and my acting teacher said you're feeling him big, but you're feeling him honestly. And
Yeah.
so like I gave myself the freedom and took the risk to make him big because he is big.
He's
But
the
when I
director.
when I when I met Graham and I started to really just, just be around him and understand like his powerful nuance and subtlety and craft of acting, and we started to become friends off screen. He's actually the first person that's ever called me mate. I've never been called mate before, which is a sign of Scottish
Hey,
camaraderie. Like it
yes.
was the last thing he said when he left. He said, "I'll see you, mate." And it really like it meant a lot to me. Like we really became close because again, we were telling the story bigger than us, but because of his subtlety and the power that he had with his eyes and the difference of emotions, it really became this thing where like naturally, like our emotions and like our tempo starts to align a little bit more. And that's where I think like the power of it, like in terms of showing it to an audience, can really happen because once you start to really let somebody in, it's harder to cancel them for maybe the one
Right.
thing that you disagree with. Because I mean, like again, like
It's
I
one thing.
it's one thing.
One
It's
thing.
one
Yeah, one
thing.
thing. It's one
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Doesn't define the person.
No, it's
Does
just a
not.
thing.
Does
Doesn't
not.
doesn't define them. Doesn't define them. Not at all. Let's talk about this black belt thing. Then when did you get into that?
Since birth, my dad is my sensei. So I grew up literally on the dojo deck. I
Ah,
am a, fourth degree black belt in Okinawan Shoin-ryu, which is I always use the analogy. It's like more Steven Seagal. It's very like you know, less showy, more arm motion, more arm locks, a little bit tighter, right? It's not like the spinning back kick, which I got to be honest doesn't work in real life. Like it looks good in the movies, but like it's not gonna win a street fight. That's what I'll say. So I grew up in an old school dojo. I always jokingly say that I don't think this dojo would be allowed in like 45 states in the country because we don't use pads. But like we work like together, right? We're not trying to land punches. We're trying to work together. These people are my family, and they kind of became a big part of my love of acting just because of like the practice, right? It's like you enjoy the kata like you enjoy the audition. And so I grew up basically like a Ninja Turtle. I've got 3 other brothers, and my dad, obviously Master Splinter, and like the 4 of us were basically the Ninja Turtles growing up. So I just I just got my 4th degree black belt last year on May the 4th on Star Wars Day. And it's just a practice that's always kind of been a part of who I am. And then it's kind of transcended into being an action actor, which is what I am as an actor. An action actor, just so you know, is not a stunt man. It's somebody that can do a lot of the fighting and the stuff like that. But when they're ready to jump over the building to another building, that's when you get,
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. What's your favorite sports film?
Oh, man. You're doing it to me now. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to say it.
Come on.
I really love the Rockies. And honestly, I really like, as much as I love Rocky 1, Rocky 4, there's a bad guy. He's got a cool name. What is it again?
Who's that? That's Drago. Drago.
Gotcha.
Listen, if my other co-host was on here,
I must break him.
This is my brother. He's a huge Rocky fan. Daryl D-Dubs loves Rocky, and I thought, being that you was talking football and stuff like that, I thought you was gonna say Any Given Sunday.
I love that one too, and I actually, one of my black belt friend, who's like an uncle to me, growing up in the dojo in Front Royal, Virginia, believe it or not, was worked on that film as a bodyguard. So I do love that. I mean, it's very, very tough. I think I say the Rockies because it's like the Rockies. It's like all of them, and now there's the Creeds, and the Creeds do such a great job bringing Drago back, and it's my last name. So it's like, I feel like I have an innate connection with like, the bad guys. And actually I love what they did with Creed, because they really showed that, like, in a very interesting way, almost like Somewhere in Montana, that a lot of it is like a misunderstanding of societies. It's not that neither one is the good or the bad guy. They really did a good job. I mean, I think the Creeds are just exceptionally written. Like, honestly,
and
I
Matt,
think they're
at the end of Rocky 4, Rocky did try to articulate that when he was Rocky. Like, yous over there can love us, and we love yous. It's not so bad, you guys.
I can't stand the DA.
Man, look, I watched.
I think DA is an actor. I think he's got the chops.
I'm telling you, man, you might send him a script or something like that.
Oh boy, don't send me shit.
Let's go.
I'm gonna watch
go.
I'm gonna watch the movie with my wife. We're gonna go see it.
Yes,
and we're gonna watch it.
yes.
And she'll be like, okay.
I'm gonna write a scene where like the two of you are in a sports book or something like that. Just so I can be in a scene with you.
Yes.
I'll do that. Yes.
Yes.
You guys are not too different from us. Okay, Rocky. Yeah. The Russian people are like, yes, we're not too different from you, Rocky.
Leave Sylvester alone, man.
Man, shoot, I love Rocky. I love the Expendables. Like, listen, my thing is, that is probably, I think, the thing I like most about acting is watching people change.
Yes.
And watching young Sylvester Stallone to this Sylvester Stallone to young Schwarzenegger to like being funny Schwarzenegger now, and and Ryan Reynolds has just changed a whole bunch of shit with, like, he's bringing old Marvel guys back.
Genius.
And like dudes are like, oh wow,
Genius.
okay. Wesley Snipes is really not an asshole all the time. You know, he may have been an asshole then, but he's not now.
Ryan Reynolds is like literally like the smartest person in Hollywood. Like he is just brilliant. Like I mean, and he's a marketing genius.
He's Marvel Jesus.
He's
Marvel.
He kind of is though. I mean, like what he did in the Deadpool Wolverine spinoff. I'm like, how do you even write that? And then like it all just sort of made sense. Like
I never, and you know, and he wrote it. You guys had the SAG strike, and then after the SAG strike, then you had the other strike, and you know, he just kept it rolling. And I guess maybe because he was the head writer, you know, that he could just do it from his own, like he did in the commercials, his own toilet. And just keep writing, and get the real writers to come in at some point in time and change it and hook it up. But I one day I will take an acting class. I just want to learn how it goes from paper. I'm a project manager, ITPM, by trade. So my thing is, how does it get from here to there, right? And what steps in between? Get, you know, something from on paper to it being the Witcher or whatever it is, right? And you know, that's kind of what I'm into. And because I always wonder, you know, like I got tons of books in my house, and I just try to figure out how the heck did they get on screen? Like how did they get there? And you know, what's a playwright? Who does that? Who takes it from a book to making a movie? And all those little steps. Like that's the kind of nerd stuff I'm into. So
what's the gaffer?
It's a cameraman.
Oh, is it? Okay, see, I didn't even know that. See, I just seen crazy.
Here's the thing. You kind of almost hit like the word is process. Like as an actor, you have to figure out what your own process is. You know, what makes you click. And again, a lot of acting is so great because once, like, again, I can't give you your process like you can't give me my process. But when you're around great acting teachers like I was, you know, Terry Schreiber is one that, you know, got Edward Norton to start. And I studied with him for 2.5 years in Chelsea. The man, like, he loved it out of me. And I love acting teachers that love it out of you. But I also, what I loved about him is that he had studied so many different styles that he would give them all to you. Like he would tell you, like, you know, let's try a little Meisner, let's try a little Strasberg. But, you know, I've even done kabuki training, which is like Japanese, like body work. Right. And it's like, it's all about what gets you to the place where you're ready to go. Right. It's really what fires you up. Like you, in a way, are coaching yourself. Right. Because again, you have to be able to get so deep in the psyche, because you have to remember a lot of acting is off the lines. It's behavioral, right? And some of the most interesting moments in acting are off the lines when you're really just with somebody and in real time you're taking in what they're giving you and then you're giving it back, right? It's that conversation. So it's whatever allows you to freely do that. That's when your instrument is ready to go. That's when that's when you're ready to, you know, roll up the curtain and turn on the lights or yell action. That's when it's ready. You're ready to go.
Yeah, that's just beautiful, man. We usually say we could do this for another 2 hours, but I got a thing for acting, so, and actors and actresses and all that. So yeah.
And we love talking about it because I mean, honestly, like actors, I gotta be honest, are some of the most selfless people I've ever met in my life. Like because they freely are used to giving their emotions to people and they love getting it back. And so like there's just so many, like, I mean, like I just hung out with Michelle Hurd a couple days ago and Garrett Dillahunt, her amazing husband. I just think the world of them because of who they are. And I know that they're incredible, selfless actors, but like they're selfless people. Like they're just such wonderful, like human beings that like I could talk to them about anything. And I think it's that kind of like camaraderie that just really, it's like, you know, it's like finding your people. It's like finding, you know, people that love sports, but no sports, right? That aren't just like, oh my God, yeah, the Yankees, like I really like, I love the pinstripe uniforms.
I can see, Matt, I can see you choking out a casual fan. So yeah, I know. you would probably, it wouldn't take but an inning or two before you'd be like, oh,
I just,
honey,
DA,
we
I
gotta
just
move.
intellectually put them down. It's not, I don't choke them out. I intellectually choke them out.
Yes, you know what I mean. Yeah, you know, you're telling your wife like,
respectfully.
You're telling your wife, listen, honey, let's switch seats so you sit next to her, and I'll sit over here because I don't want to hear that for another 9 innings, please.
Yeah,
Why does he have that bat? What is he doing? Yeah, you probably not good with that.
That was probably another reason why I couldn't be a Yankee fan anymore, because those were the fans that were around me, and I swear to God, like when I was like, you know, at the what I call the real Yankee Stadium, you would never find a fan there. It's almost like you said, Kevin. It's like you could feel that everybody knew the weight of that, you know, like that 2-2 fastball in the 7th inning a little bit more. Like, you know what I mean?
We knew what we were doing.
You could feel it.
We knew what we were watching.
I'm
100%.
I'm like the DA, man. We could probably carry. This is like one of the dopest interviews. I think DA will allude to this. This is one of the dopest interviews.
I'm having a blast.
Yeah,
and my Mets haven't kicked in yet.
Yes.
And as you can see, I was super prepared. I had and it went, and it's this was just great. This was just great, Matt. We got to have you back on as soon as you do the film or whatever. Let us know. Let me know.
Who wins the Super Bowl?
Yes, who wins the Super Bowl. Let's get that. Who you got?
Oh, you want my Super Bowl pick?
Yeah.
I cannot for the life of me. I cannot for the life of me.
I know it's coming. We got you. We understand. No one can.
If you give that ball to that man, he is Batman. He is what you fear in the night. He is what you like. Listen, the Eagles better be prepared to go up by 2.
Chris Nolan, Batman.
3. They are the bad Batman, or the OG like Michael Keaton Batman, who I also really like. Just like you know, in the midst of battle. You give him the ball last, you know what's coming.
Yeah, you may
just
as well
know what's coming.
Yeah, kiss your feet goodbye. It's over.
Yeah. I think it's really gonna come down. I mean, it really is gonna come down to Saquon, right? I think listen, here's what I'm gonna say. 114.5 is his rushing yard prop. If he doesn't hit the over, they are not winning that game. They are not winning that game.
Perfect.
They have got. If he doesn't get to the second level, and the Chiefs know it, and again in Spags I trust, right? If he doesn't get to the second level a couple times in that game and starts breaking off some chunk runs like he can do, it's going to be a very long day. It's going to be it might not even be close, but I think what keeps it close is that, you know, one of my favorite props is Jalen Hurts hitting his rushing prop, because I think that they are going to pay so much attention to Saquon that I think Jalen Hurts like maybe 33.5.
Yeah.
You want to start talking props? We can go for another hour.
33.5 is good money too.
Yeah,
that's good money.
That's good money, man.
That's good money.
I might put a yard on the 33. Yeah.
Worthy's another good one if you want that rushing receiving prop, because his line he can break on a 30-yard run, or
and they give him those reverses and whatnot. Yeah. All right. Okay.
I might have you come back on just to be our prop person for.
Hey, let's go. Only in football though. I almost paid for a Super Bowl ticket. I did a 5 demon prop on Prize Picks. And the only one that I didn't hit on, and it would have been like a $10,000 win, was Hollywood didn't get over 49.5. I teased it up.
Yikes!
But I hit all the other ones. Like I hit 5 of 6, and they were all demon props.
Yeah.
So they were all like inflated lines, and I hit the over on all of them.
I will look tonight on the internet while my wife's not looking.
I'm gonna get some text from you guys later. You're gonna be like, which one was it that?
Oh no, I'm in, brother. Hey, and I just followed you on Instagram, brother. So, you know, I followed all the Matt. So I don't know if they're all you or not. Maybe some other guys I'm following now, but yeah, it's like Matt Drago 07 and Matt Drago _1544.
It's just Matt Drago for me. It's just I got in early enough, I guess, that I didn't need the underscore or the overscore or the dash or the question mark or any of that shit. I just got Matt Drago.
Ain't got like 14 of them, brother. So yeah, Matt Drago 007 _ Drago.
Not me. Not me.
I
Just
got
Matt
you.
Drago.
Listen, we'll
Gotcha.
have all of Matt's stuff in the description of both the YouTube side and the podcast side. Of course, Matt, this has been great. This has been really, like I said, one of the dopest interviews that me and DA have done. And it was just a conversation, man. It's just conversation. Just three New Yorkers just talking about sports and
Sports.
all that
I feel
life
like
that
I'm in the bar
is-
with you guys right now. This
Sports.
is great.
For real. Yeah.
Sports. They talking sports
Like you
over
damn
here.
well know that if we were in the bar right now, that this was going on for another 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah. Oh shit. We might get kicked out.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, they might close
Well,
the lights on us.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. You guys
For
got to
sure.
go somewhere.
that's
Don't
the
know
mark
where
of
you're
a
going.
good night when you get kicked out.
Yeah, but I'm in New York, man. I can fucking waddle my ass to a train station somewhere and just, that's
That's
it.
the thing about LA. It's like people don't understand. Like, and it's the same thing with Miami with the heat. You said it's just a pain in the fucking ass.
Yes.
Like it really is.
It's too much.
It's
Too
like,
much.
should I have this other beer? Like I have to drive 45 minutes to
And
an hour and a half. Oh.
I stopped drinking because I don't drink at all because I live in North Carolina and I got to drive so much, so I don't drink at all. So,
Yeah.
but life is good. God is good. So,
That's
Matt,
good.
thank you, man.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Pops, man. Thank you, Pops, for real. I'm being very serious, man.
Yes.
Making you a Yankee fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, dog, I almost cried when you said, had the scorebook, because I remember guys doing that when I was a kid, and you would go to the games and you would score the games yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and that you brought me back, man. And
Yeah.
I really felt that line when you said it, because I remember when I used to go see the Yankees. That's what dudes. It was so many people out there scoring. Old guys just there. It's like shit. You know, and it's sad to see that people don't even know what the hell that is anymore. But
Right.
They don't know.
Oh, I used to read them. I mean, like they would show me like, I'd be like, oh, what about this game? And they'd go back and they'd be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, he
did substitute, and it was a 4-6-3 in the 7th inning, and I was like, oh my god, like
what's E8?
Yeah,
E8, right.
They don't even understand what the hell that is. But yeah, that was I thank you for that. And that took me back somewhere. My uncle just passed a few weeks ago, so that takes me somewhere. So I thank you very much for saying that, man. I really appreciate it, man. For real.
Absolutely.
Man, this was great, man. I'm gonna let Matt have the last words, but before he has the last word, Matt, I'll just let you know that my acting resume, I starred as Scrooge in my 6th grade play, and starred in a church play when I was about 13. So.
Nice.
Never did anything. Never ever did. No. Wish I did though. Wish I did. That's one of them. I'll come back in my next life and be a Navy SEAL or an actor. So
you got to start somewhere. I mean, I did all the weird off Broadway shows that they make fun of in Friends. Like I've done those. like the ones where I'm like, don't Google that shit, guys. Seriously, don't Google it. It's weird.
Dude, like Chandler, they used to make so much fun of those plays.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not right.
They're real. They're real.
But those are the ones where you can go see them, like $5 with a pretty girl.
We're talking about 3. So
pretty girl. So there you go.
100%. You got to start somewhere, like everything in life.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Matt, it was my pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Pleasure, DA. Pleasure, Kevin. Thank you, guys. Yeah, let's do this again.
Yes, we're absolutely going to do it again. The name of Matt's movie that he's in is Somewhere in Montana. And we are so thrilled and glad that we was able to have a conversation with Matt. Now I got some real applause for you, Matt.
Bring Cooper Kupp back.
Hey, he's not going to go. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
From your mouth to God's ears, please.
Don't worry, sir. Don't worry.
All right.
Matt,
I'll make the phone call.
I'm going to let you have the last words, Matt, and then we'll get on out of here and we'll talk afterwards. What you got for us before we
Absolutely.
go, man?
Absolutely. Guys, just thank you again for this wonderful conversation. I think, sports like art, like are just in alignment with each other, right? They're an escape and we all need escapes in life. So I hope that this film Somewhere in Montana will be that for you. I feel like if you're struggling with where we're at as a country right now, I hope that it will give you a path to see that two different people can come together, that we can coexist, that there is a way. And
Yes.
so, I again, like I just, I thank you, gentlemen. And again, I just, sports and art and perseverance and, everything that goes along with it is just part of what makes this journey great for me. And so I really really enjoyed sharing it with you today. It meant a lot.
Hey, this is great. So
This was-
I'm looking at the IMDb, checking out some scenes now. So that's what I'm gonna do before I go to bed. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I met an actor. So yeah, finally did it. So there's a lot of things to scratch off now. So I met an actor.
And soon you're gonna become one. So there you go. I mean, again, I need to figure out that sports book scene that we all show up and you know what I mean.
Once I I'll don't worry.
Get ready, DA.
I'll talk to Martin. I'll talk to Scorsese and we'll take care of it, man, and get it done. We went to the same high school, so he went to Cardinal Hayes High School in the Bronx. So he went to the same school. So I got ends with him. So we'll take care of it. All right, guys.
There you go.
On behalf of myself, I'm Kevin L. Warren, the host and moderator for the DA, and for our special guest tonight, Matt Drago. Man, this is the Sports Chasers podcast. Y'all be good. Y'all be great. We'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Sports Chasers podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms, and connect with us on all social media channels for exclusive content and updates. We'd also love for you to join the conversation, share your thoughts, and become part of the Sports Chasers community. And remember to tune in next time for some more real sports talk. Until then, stay frosty.